Okay, and we're back, everybody. Welcome to the Flex demo of today. Just a reminder, we're going to have some code reviews after this. I hadn't opened it yet, so I will open it as soon as we're done with our lab here. So don't worry about signing up yet. We'll have that opportunity in just a bit. So what we're going to do now is, as I've mentioned, go over this assignment. Flex navbar. That should take me about 30 minutes. And after we're done with that, we are going to go into the breakout groups as we discussed. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, you have a wireless headset, so you're going to bring that with you, Mike? Just don't turn the mic on, okay? All right, so here we are. I have a boilerplate. I have index.html, and I have style.css. I just want to check that it's connected. I did include the link this time to the CSS. So let's go ahead and test this. Open with live server. Hello world. Okay, so we're good. Now let's start styling. I just want to create a simple navbar that goes across my screen. Or it doesn't even have to go across the screen. It just has to look like this. So I am going to first create a div with the class name nav. So what if I arrange my windows this way? This is better. So I'm going to erase this hello world. I'm going to say div, and I'll teach you guys another trick here. If I say div dot nav and I press tab, it'll create the class with the nav already in the class name. I can do that with ID as well. So if I say div,
can you combine that with the times whatever as well to make multiples of them with class names?
I've never thought of that, but yes.
Ooh, that's big.
So now I've created 5 nav IDs here by saying div hashtag nav and then times 5. But I just want to do div.nav. And if I press enter, I have my navbar div. And I want to, let's just target our navbar. And let's give it a background color of orange. Okay, so it should be there as soon as we give it some dimension and some something to fill it up with. So I want to give it a certain width. So I'll say height and width. I'll say height. Actually, I'll touch that first. Height 200 pixels. And there it is. When you touch the height, it already gives it a width. So I'm going to reduce that actually because I don't need it to be that big. Maybe 100 pixels. And that's a decent size. Now that I know that it is this height, I can see the background color. I'm going to add some properties to it. So when I look at this navbar here, like I discussed in the earlier lecture, I'm going to have to decide how to divide this up. So I'm going to have, I'm going to apply flex. That's the point of this demo, and that's what we're doing from now on. I'm going to just align this here and this here. I have 2 sections. One's going to be the H1, and the section on the right I'm going to create a div that encapsulates everything inside here and call it the nav links. That's my first layer of flex. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we have class nav. And I say h1, h1 dot, I'm going to say nav links. And so I have my nav now. Oh, no. Now I'm getting mixed up. This is going to be the title, just the title. And I'm going to say profile. And actually, now that I think about it, I want this orange color to be this grayish color, as I see here. So I'm going to use my color picker. And now I have this color here. I'll switch out this color. And there's that. And I know that everything in the nav bar is going to have a different color here. The button's going to be blue and everything else is going to be white. So because everything is going to have its unique color, I'm just going to affect the H1's color right now. So I'm going to say nav title, color white. And there we see it. Pretty simple so far, right? I haven't done much. I haven't even applied flex. Okay. Now I need to create the other div I mentioned, the one that's going to have the nav links. So I'm going to create another div below here within the nav, and I'm going to call it nav links. Actually, I'm not going to make it a div. I'm going to make it an unordered list. And I'm going to say nav links. And let's include a couple list items in here. And I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 list items. So I'm going to say list item times 4. And there we have our list items. So let's take a look at what we have so far. Here are our 4 dots. We want to separate this to this area here, but let's fill this up with content first. I'm going to create one, because they're links, I'm going to create A tags within the list items. So the first A tag is going to be a, Sorry?
No, they pressed the wrong button.
Okay. It's okay. All right, now we have our first link here. It's going to say home. And it's probably going to be black. Or
That hashtag in the href is just a placeholder, yeah?
right, because I don't have a place to link to yet.
Okay.
And I am going to just copy this A tag a couple more times. So home, my profile, and find connections. So now I'm just going to change home to my profile. And find connections. And the last one is going to be a button. So I can either make it an input type submit, or I can make this button here. Either way, it's going to look the same. So here I'm going to say sign out, because that's what my button says. And now let's take a look. All right. So now I want to decorate my nav links a little bit so I can see what I'm going to be separating from edge to edge. So I'm going to say nav links. Needed the class selector. Nav links. Color white. That doesn't do it because it only affected the dots here. So what I need to do actually is affect all the A tags. So instead of applying white to every single subcontent, what if I just apply color white here? Will it affect it? Well, it affected the button, but these links are still going to remain purplish blue. So I have to track down my links. And I'm going to say A tags, all the A tags on here, I'm going to say first text decoration none. That's going to take that away. And now I want it to be color white. There we go. Okay. And now let's separate it. So I'm going to say display flex. Now they're side by side, but I need it to be on the right-hand side. So what's the rule here that I should apply that is going to separate the content by the space in between? Yes. Okay, space between on what? Let's say the whole entire thing here. Starts with the J.
Just fragmenting.
Yes. Space between. And now it's all the way to the right. On my nav links, on my list items here, I want to eliminate the dots. So what is the rule here to take away the dots? Does anyone remember?
List style none.
Text decoration none.
No, list style.
Oh, list style none. I heard you. I just typed in the wrong thing. There we go. Okay, now, how can we make all of these list items in the UL class nav links go side by side next to each other in a line, in a horizontal line? We already did this rule. We separated these two things by that rule.
Display flex and center, or I'm sorry, display flex and then a line item center.
Okay, so display flex, nice. All right, and if I say align item center, centered. Why isn't this H1 here on profile centered?
Because you don't have the nav bar defaulting to center.
Okay, so if I say align item center here, now that's centered. If I do align item center on the nav bar, do I need it on the nav links?
No.
Well, you see that slight adjustment there? It's so small. Technically, no, but if you want to be a perfectionist, now it's perfectly centered on both things here. Okay, now I need to add some space between our nav links. How do we do that? Our nav links,
Justify your content to space between within nav links.
okay. Is that it?
Or space around.
Let's try space around. But it's still not creating that space, so I must be missing something here. What could it be? Narciso says gap. Narciso, did you want to explain that rule a little bit since we haven't talked about it?
Sure. Gap only works on flex containers. Okay, but you can specify the width for your gap, which will be automatically placed between each flex item in that container. So if you went to your nav links and put a gap of say 20 pixels on there or 2 rem or something like that, then yeah.
Here we go. So this is pretty nice.
Is
Gap
it better practice to use gap for situations like this rather than margin? Because I just
Oh,
put
yeah.
a margin on all sides.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay,
That's good to know. That's nice.
Because you don't get the margins on the outsides.
I
Gap
was gonna
is
say
really
padding,
nice.
but it would be the same thing as margins really. So gap's nice.
So gap by itself will add that spacing between the items. And there's another reason though. If we didn't have gap, how would we do this with justified content space around? What's the reason it's not separating?
Are they stacking?
Well, we can inspect here and take a deeper look. These are the nav links. That's how much space the nav links have to separate from each other.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so Spencer said it. If we add width to our nav links, then we have the option of, let's say 100 pixels. That's not very much. That's going to squish it down. I'm going to say 500.
Look at that.
Okay, so we have a couple options at our disposal here. We have gap, which is really cool. We have justified content, and we would adjust that with the width. So these two rules go together nicely, justified content and width, or we could just add some gap. I already have it, so I'm just going to leave it. But I'll leave this gap rule here so that you guys can take a look at it and have it there for yourself.
Wouldn't it have been better to use space evenly so the sign out's not right up against the edge of the nav? When you didn't have the width? And
When I
you-
didn't have the width,
When you took the width off, take width off and put gap back on and use space evenly. You see how sign out is right up against the edge there?
yeah, it's still there on the edge.
Even with space evenly?
Space evenly,
Maybe
yes.
Space around should give it a gap. After.
And the reason is because on the nav, we have justified content space between. That's what pushed the nav links, this UL, all the way to the right and the H1 all the way to the left. So it's not controlled by the nav links. This is just controlling the parent that has the children of home, my profile, my connections. But the whole div, the whole UL itself is going to be pushed all the way to the right because justified content space between. Now, when we give it some width,
Space evenly, I thought space evenly put space on the right of the rightmost item.
Space evenly will, but when we're looking, okay, if I take away the width and justified content, what's controlling it to go all the way to the right is the rule on the parent nav, and the nav has two children, nav title and nav links. So when we say justified content space between, then it pushes it all the way to the edge. If I say space evenly here, then it's going to do what you'd like it to do, but now it's way more centered. Does that make sense, Spencer?
No, I mean, the diagrams we saw spaced evenly with space left and right of every item inside of its own container. So I don't understand why it's not putting space on the right of the sign out button inside the container.
Okay. It would do it if it had some width. With the when it doesn't initially have any width
Oh, I see.
by giving it, okay, see. So if I switch this to space between, switch this to evenly. Oop, too many. Thank you, baby.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping would happen. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Now I want to add a little bit of space to the H1 on the left. So how do I do that? I have to target or attack here this nav title. So I can do this with a little margin. So margin left, 200 pixels. That's too much. That's still too much. That's good. Now the last thing I need to do is increase maybe the size of these links here and then style the button. So on the links, I'm going to say on the actually the A tags here, I'm going to say font size 20 pixels. Okay, that's better. I also want to increase the size of the button. So I'm going to target the button and say, what's the color here? Color white for the text. And I'm going to make the background color some kind of aquish color. That's not right. So what I'm going to do is use my color picker. Come on, picker. There we are. It's copied. There we are. So now I need to add a little size to it. The height 20 pixels. That just shrunk it. 40 pixels. Width 60 pixels. Oh, I'm going in reverse. Okay. Maybe font size. 25 pixels. No way. It's way too big. 15 is good. Okay, now I'm nearly done. I just want to change the font now. So I know this font is already Roboto.
It's balsamic.
Balsamic? I
Yeah,
don't know how to spell that.
it's not built in. You'd have to grab it from Google Fonts or something.
Okay. Well then. I think I have it here. Let me see. Let's go to Google Fonts. Google Fonts, balsamic.
Yeah, with a Q, with a Q. Yeah, there you go.
Balsamic.
Sounds like a sauce you put on like salad or something.
Yeah, like vinegar.
They do that a lot in Italian restaurants.
I don't know if you've done this before, Josh.
I have, but I don't do it that often. So maybe you can walk
Yeah.
me through this.
Yeah, so first of all, remove your rubato. So you'll have to click remove all. Up on the site. Yeah, over here. Yep. Now you want to just select all of the weights you want. So probably all of them, right? So select all of these. There should be like 4 of them.
Why if I just need one, why do I need to select 4?
There's one that's bold in there.
Like one's
You
italic.
may not, yeah, you don't need the italic, but you might want the italic for something.
Oh, I see. Later on, maybe in another part of the page. I see.
Mhm. And then click your, either use your link or your import. The import is for CSS. The link is for HTML.
Okay, let's just stick with CSS.
Okay, then just grab what's between the style tags, copy that, paste it in the top of your CSS file, and you got that font family. And you could grab that rule from the Google Font site. If you scroll down here, there's the rule.
Here we go.
And there you go.
Awesome.
All done. So there's a nav bar. It's responsive. And it looks colorful. So there you go, guys. That's how simple that assignment could be. Creating 2 divs. One is the overall div. And then we have a nav title here. We have the UL here. We applied flex and then justify content space between. And that's what gave us the space here between. Then we applied flex here. And then that gave us, arrow's a little short there. And then we applied some width and also applied some justify content space evenly. And we also learned about the gap rule. Other than that, the only styling I had to do was styling we already knew, which was remove text decorations, change the font color, increase the size of this button here, change the font. The only thing I had to apply flex to was this overall nav bar containing these 2 boxes and this box here that had our list items. And we also learned about Google Fonts. So thank you, Narciso.
For sure.
All right, so now let's do something fun. We are going to not here. It's something that we're trying to. Here we are. Can anyone speak French? And tell me if I'm saying this wrong. Piet Mondrian. We're going to try and replicate his art piece here. This is kind of like the flags assignment.
Oh,
We're gonna divide this in. We're gonna figure out how to divide this, okay? Because we have rows that we can apply flex to. We have the flex 1, 2, 3 rule. Some of our boxes here may not need flex. So we are going to do this only using flex, not inline block. I'm going to send this image in our Discord, so don't worry here. And then we're going to separate into groups. Hold on a second while I save this. Okay, there it is. I'm going to create the breakout groups. There's going to be randomized. I'm going to check on the groups to make sure that nobody is in a group by themselves. And we'll work on this for about 30 minutes and then we'll stop. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Do we feel like artists now?
Oui.
Oh,
No.
I'm pretty proud of mine, you guys.
You have all this experience in the world, Narciso.
It was fun.
Okay. Well, Evan and Randy's group, would you like to present first?
You are muted, my friend. Ooh, it's great.
Oh, and a frame. Wow.
We got some time, so I just add some shadow.
Put a label on the
showboats.
That's awesome.
Showboat.
bottom.
I'm sorry. I like front end things. I think that's more my area.
Right on.
So Randy and I actually decided to tackle this differently. We were like, let's try it on our own and come back together. And so, Randy, if you're comfortable sharing your screen, it's pretty cool how he got his. Otherwise, I can just say it.
Did you guys augment it a little bit, that brown square above the yellow?
Oops, that's an accident. I gotta change that to the right color.
So you guys failed the assignment.
Yeah, I suppose. All right.
Just kidding. No, this is
I
great,
can
guys.
fix that real quick. But well, anyways, I don't know. Did Randy say you wanted to share?
I can share mine now. You want?
Okay.
So how'd you guys do this?
Oh, okay. Well, so what I did is I pretty much copied what Tina did the other day or yesterday with using the borders, which I thought was like coloring the borders in, which is pretty neat.
What did I do?
Yeah, you just colored in different sides of a border. So instead of a full border around, I just did the top. This is the bottom right, and then the top right, and yada yada yada. And then I added a border around the whole container. And I was like, hey, this looks kind of like a frame. So I looked up different styles of borders, and there's a dash here. And then I added a shadow. And then I don't know, there was time. I just did this. Same with the shadow, and I just added a background of white to all that. But yeah, Randy, if you want to share your screen.
Yeah. Okay, so this is why I did. Instead of doing border, I made a black background, and then I spaced all the like boxes in between them. So this is why I got, yeah.
I thought it was neat that we kind of tackled it different ways. Like that's really smart, using a black background and moving everything around it. I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
We did work together on both of them though. Like, we didn't just do it totally separate, but initially we started out with different ideas, and then, yeah.
So Randy, is yours done without using any flex?
Oh, I did use Flex. I just grouped them into different groups, and I used Flex, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Josh, I got my one-on-one.
Okay, see you, Narciso.
See ya.
Okay, cool. So we have two different ways. One, we did it with borders. The other one, we did a completely black background and adjusted the divs using Flex. You guys are great. So appreciate the hard work. Carlos and Keithan's group, and one other person who was in your group as well.
It was me.
Yes, sir. Omar.
Okay, let me share my screen.
So close.
Yeah, I was saying, Omar, I think the last thing we have to do is actually just adjust our column 5 back to 450 and then put those borders on column 5 and 6 or 6 and 7.
Okay. So here's the code.
Just the width back to 450.
Or which one?
The column 5.
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to use the flex. Yeah. Okay, actually 400.
Oh, did you save it?
Okay, 350, 300, whatever.
Closer and closer. There we go.
Yeah.
280.
280, 290,
Oh,
290, 285.
282. 285, 285. There we go.
All right.
So we're
Now we just actually make the so for either make 5 or column 6 background white and make column 7 background yellow. So switch those, yeah, just switch those background colors for column 6 and 7.
oh, okay. So this one, do this one yellow. Oops.
That thing's the border.
Yep, and then we just need we need border for all 3 of those columns. So border, this is the yellow one, so border top for this one. And border left.
see the gears are turning.
And then border bottom for column 6. Oh, what the? I think let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that flex. I think we can get rid of that flex 1 on column 5.
Hey guys, this is pretty close. I think we're close.
Okay.
But you guys
Trust
know
that
it.
works.
You guys know what to do.
Yeah,
So well done. Yep. Well done, guys. Proud
it's a
of you.
solid C.
No. I give it a B plus. It's like short from being an A. You just need that little piece.
Right.
Now who else here? Mike's group.
Okay, had a couple of issues going through. This is as far as we got. We went with the same idea that Randy was going with to set a black container and then just space everything with margins. Justin was having a little trouble understanding divs within divs, and I was having a little trouble explaining it to them or to him, and we had a syntactic error that stumped us for a little bit. But
was
essentially, that was having this as a capital F and referencing it over here with a lowercase.
So that, remember guys, it's case sensitive, so it will trip you up if you don't spell it. So keep it all lowercase in case you run into this error. You'll know that, okay, if anything here has a typo, And one thing, when I had a senior engineer as a manager, she wouldn't let me type the same thing. She would always make me copy and paste to eliminate even the smallest possibility of a typing error. So copying and pasting is going to be a safe route always. So once you write your class in your HTML, if you copy that class name and then do dot paste, that'll prevent it. But good job, guys. We learned how Flex works. We almost did the whole top row, and I saw the progress you guys made. And I'm super distracted by your VS Code at the bottom left. So let's go ahead and switch screens now.
They're
No, it's
so
cool.
cute though.
Yeah, it's cool actually. All right. Tejas, would you like to share your group's progress?
Sure. So,
Ooh.
Nice.
Spencer did it. So thank you, Spencer.
So the thinking we did was 2 columns, left column and a right column. Left column had 3 containers in it. Right column had 2 containers in it, but the bottom container had 2 containers in it.
Yes.
So-
And what I like about this is that you have comments, so your eyes can easily interpret each section on the HTML. Well done there. Continue.
Other than that, it was just finding the right heights and the right widths to kind of make everything fit inside the big box. A lot of 151, 150, 149 pixels to make everything fit.
Did you guys have fun with this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This was really fun.
This was a lot of fun.
It was like the perfect amount of challenging, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't challenging enough to stress you out, but it was challenging enough to get your gears turning.
Yes. It's challenging.
Yes. I'm glad we did this. So, all right.
We're gonna be doing stuff like this every day.
No, we're coming close to an end of CSS. Tomorrow is going to be our last day. We're going to teach some mostly forbidden rules. And then after that, we're going to work on making the page come alive with JavaScript. So, all right. Well done, guys. Really nice. You can use Flex. Sorry?
So just a quick question. I mean, as I'm like sometimes getting hard time in shipping these boxes. I don't know maybe what tricks I need to use because I will do it at the end of the day, but it's taking me some time.
Well, if you completed the
I know all
assignment,
the logics, but kind of.
yeah, you fully understood what to do if you completed it. It's just a matter of practice at this point. I mean, this is particularly challenging because it's an art piece and it has all these squares. It's condensed. It's not like a web page that is kind of spread out. But that was the point, so that you can get a grasp of how to do it. And the more you practice, the faster you'll get. So just continue with today's practice assignments. It's not going to be usually much harder than making like the nav bar that I made today. But all web pages that you're going to mimic from now on are going to come down to looking at the piece that you're going to copy and cutting it into the squares that you're going to use Flex on, cutting it, dividing it, and then using that Lego style, putting it together, put one piece, make a foundation, and then add from there. Okay, so Tina, would you like to share your groups, please?
Leo has it.
Leo, okay. Leo, would you like to share, please?
Sure.
Nice.
Yes, this is what we got. We created basically 2 boxes, basically 2 containers, and then inside the first box we had these 2, and then this one separate. And then for the bottom half, we have this one as its own div, and then these 2 with this one including 2 other boxes.
Sorry, could you inspect your page so I can see it better?
Yeah. So this would be div middle, which is in the second box. And then we have these 2 smaller divs in their own div right here on the right div. Left.
Okay. And what did you apply flex to?
The container itself, and then each of the div containers, or this one.
Okay, so left box. Which one is
Yeah.
left box again?
Left box is this one right here.
Okay, so you applied flex to the left box, and the left
Yeah.
box contains those 2 right ones and the red one?
No,
No,
that's box 1.
Okay,
Box 1. You can see
So-
all of them.
so left box may not need flex because it's what if you take out that rule here? If you comment it out?
Right over here.
Yes. And refresh, save and refresh. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, you do need it. I just don't understand it. Okay. Well,
Yeah, we were fidgeting with it. Because she suggested the column, which I haven't looked at yet, but that
oh,
makes
flex
sense.
direction column. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, that's
did
what I
flex
used as
direction
well for
too.
that section.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, so there's many ways you can divide a page or a box of boxes. Okay, well done, guys. Any other comments we should know? What was the hardest point in this assignment? Getting what to do what?
Keeping things like to fit in a container. We had to like fidget with the height and the width.
doing everything
lot.
down to the pixel,
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
being
Well,
a
well done.
perfectionist.
Thank you.
Nicely done. All right, Jung, did your group already present?
No. Bill should have the code that we were working on.
Okay. Bill, would you?
Did he say me? Yeah.
Yes,
hold
please.
on. I'm just trying to share my screen. Hold on. So we didn't exactly finish. We're missing the little white box here. But this is basically it. We broke it up into 2 rows. This upper part being 1 row, and then this lower part being the other row. And then in this column, we did not use flex for these 2 boxes. It's all on a black background. We did not use flex for these 2 boxes, but for these 2 columns together, we used flex to divide them up. And then in the bottom row, we used flex to divide these 3 columns.
Okay. All right. It's looking good. You guys have did you guys hate this artist or love this artist after working with this?
As far as recreating paintings with blocks go, this was pretty good.
Okay.
Could have gave us a Picasso, is all I'm saying.
So I'm glad you guys like this assignment. Maybe we should do a harder one next time. Let's do something like this.
You just taught us a valuable lesson, Josh. Always complain about assignments.
Here, check out this one on the Discord. What if we would have done something like
No.
that would have taken all day, right? All right, well,
It's not
Okay, well done, you guys. Let's end now. We have an hour left in the day, so I've opened up the calendar so that you can enter your name for today's group review session if you'd like to do it. It's optional. There's plenty of slots for tomorrow at 3. Let me share my screen here. Actually, let me stop the recording as well.